Welcome back. This is the Northwest Tank Line Super Bowl show coming to you from Radio Row, Phoenix Convention Center. The big one this year, Super Bowl 57, the Chiefs and the Eagles. And, of course, our 22nd year at Radio Row. And in one of those years, we got to see this great running back and his team, the Seattle Seahawks, take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shaun Alexander stopping by. Shaun, thanks for taking time out.
Hey, brother, what's happening?
Hey, you know what? It's funny. We just had Isaiah Kazaminski on.
That's crazy.
And I was like, Kaz, I go, so what's the over-under on how many times you said referee? He said, I didn't say it once. I'm not making any excuses, he
That's
said.
it. Yeah. We don't do that, man.
Good stuff. You also bumped into Max Strong, too.
I know,
your fullback.
man.
Just walking the streets
I love Max,
of Phoenix. So it's like an old home week for some of you guys down there.
Yeah, it's really cool whenever you get to catch up with your brothers, man.
So how cool is it for you just to see people that you know, us, you know, like media types and then guys you played with and people that you've known over the years?
It's been fun because, you know, I saw Kevin Frazier, you know, he does, you know, all the stuff. He's big time with an Inside Edition. And then you got, I saw Chris Rose, Solomon Wilcox, Anthony Munoz. Those were the guys that did my high school football games. My little small town in Florence, Kentucky. I remember being interviewed by them when I was little. I mean, 16, 17. And to see those guys, like, you know, grown men, mature, but, like, having their own success, it's really, really cool. And, you know, seeing Anthony Munoz was, like, amazing because, you know, I remember, like, junior high, him playing with the Bengals, and then he retires and he's got into broadcasting and doing a game. So it's just been really, really cool with that. But then, you know, I modeled my game after, you know, two guys. It was three guys, but the first two was Tony Dorsett and then Emmitt Smith, how Tony ran and how he moved, and then Emmitt, how he used the blocker as well. You know, Mark Simon was probably the third guy, but, you know, I walk by and I'm sitting next to Emmitt and Tony, and I'm still like, oh, man, this is great. And literally, my phone's blowing up as we're going through this thing because the guys that looked at me, you know, oh, Shaun, you're the first guy who was on the Madden cover. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, like, this is such an amazing family time in the Super Bowl because the guys that you looked up are here and the guys that look up to you are here. It's a lot of fun.
Hey, speaking of Radio Row and you being here, Shaun Alexander, Cafe Momentum. It's an award-winning Dallas-based nonprofit restaurant that provides 12-month paid internships and life-changing support to youth exiting the juvenile justice system. Why get involved in this? Why do it?
Man, you know, I went to a summit with the Stand Together Foundation, and I met about, you know, the organization sells probably 700 some of the most successful businessmen and philanthropic leaders in the country. And I just saw their hearts to go help share their wisdom and their finances to people that are tackling some of the biggest issues in the country. Poverty, things that are affected by poverty. And they have about 300 foundations or catalyst groups that they go help. And the one I fell in love with was Cafe Momentum. My wife and I saw some of those kids in the juvenile system serving the table, helping cook the food. We were making biscuits, and my wife was like, "We should adopt some of these kids." I was like, "Sweetie, we can't do that. We have too many kids on our own."
How big is your roster? Was it 9?
Speaking of that, we just found out we're pregnant with number 13.
9. Yeah, that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. 9, that's easy, you know. And so instead of adopting the kids, we decided to go learn more about this Dallas program. And I said to Chad Hauser, the amazing chef, I said, Chad, we should put this in every NFL city and just change how the juvenile justice system is. And so we got with Stand Together Foundation and got some support and donors, and we're just on this amazing journey to build the perfect tripod in every city. Donors, which a lot of Stand Together Foundation members will do that, but we can always get more. Influencers, which is, you know, famous people, celebrities, teammates, legends, and all that. And then the people that are actually doing the work. You know what I mean? There's people that are going to be a part of the Cafe Momentum system. That's the juvenile system, you know, and it's been amazing putting those things together and building it. So we broke ground in Pittsburgh and in Nashville. So they'll be ready to go probably end of this year or beginning of next year. And then we've got 5 other cities that are already ready to go: Houston and Atlanta and Denver. And it's just great. I believe Detroit's one of them. We're in a good place.
You know, I'm not going to pretend that I'm a social worker, but I think, you know, just from a human being perspective, just show somebody that you care. Like, let people know that someone cares about you, someone wants to help you, somebody believes in you, somebody trusts you. And I'm not going to sit here and say you're going to change every single person in the program, but hey, change somebody's life and make it for the better, man, that's a great accomplishment because it's like, you've made a difference. And that's what we all want to do in this world at some point, one way or another, is make a difference.
I mean, if we could challenge everybody to just help one person.
Yeah.
Everybody that's healthy in an area, go help one person get healthy in that area. It would change the world dramatically. And so it's just really cool. But I think the biggest issue when it comes to people infecting other people is that everybody wants to go be somebody else. I'm like, dude, use your skill set to go do what you do. So like, I would expect you to come and do a show at one of the places, come to Seattle, do a show at the Cabernet with the kids. And that's what you're going to do.
Shaun Alexander is our guest, former Seahawk running back. I know we were kidding around earlier about the Super Bowl, but when you think of that game against Pittsburgh, I mean, what emotions do you feel? Do you feel anger, frustration? I mean, bittersweet? I mean, what emotions do you feel?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, sometimes things happen in life that you can't get back, and you're like, oh, how can we change that? So you got to learn how to, like, let that pill be swallowed, you know what I mean? So it's always frustrating, I think I was the best player in the league on the best team in the league, and we play a game and people make all the excuses. The referees had a bad day, a couple of bad calls, we had a couple guys go hurt, and the backups didn't play well in the game, you know what I mean? Like, you can make all the excuses in the world, but you got to say, like, you know what? We did what we were supposed to do, and I can look myself in the mirror and say, man, I gave everything I got for us to win that game, and you got to move on.
Do you have a sense now, a greater appreciation of how hard it was to get there? Because you talk to athletes when they get to a championship game when they're in their 20s, they all believe, hey, we'll be back. We've got a great team. We'll be back next year.
Yeah.
Right? And then you talk to that guy that's been around in the league for 10, 12 years, and it's his first one.
Never sniffed it.
Yeah, and he's going to be the one that tells you, guys, you got to take advantage of this opportunity. Did you kind of fall in that category, hey, we'll be back. We got a great team. We'll be back either next year or the year after?
I was like, let's seize the moment, but I did think we were going to go on a run, and we were pretty good the next year. I broke my foot the first game of the season, but I came back for the back end of that, and we beat Dallas in that's the Romo game. We fumbled a snap. Then we played the Bears. The Bears beat us pretty good when I was hurt. With the broken foot. But I came back and we smashed them. So there's Deion Sanders.
Yeah. Hi, Deion. How you doing? Hey, the one thing about that Romo game that I remember, I was on the sidelines. Like, how the media comes down on the sidelines with 3 minutes left in the game? At least they used to. They don't do it as much now. Now it's just, cameras and TV and all that. But I remember being on the sidelines at about the 20-yard line on the Seahawks side. And Todd Lywicki, the CEO, president, the man of the Seahawks. We know him from his days in Vancouver, the Vancouver Canucks and Grizzlies. Todd was standing maybe, 5 yards away from me. Yeah. And when Romo bobbles that snap and big play Babineau chases him down,
yeah.
I think Todd had like a 48-inch vertical, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just like, boom, jumped up in the air, and I was like, whoa. Right. Yeah. I mean, the place just went bonkers. I was lucky enough to be on the sidelines for two big events in Seattle. One was the Romo snap. The other one was the Beast Mode run.
Really?
We're at the 20-yard line, and Lynch just goes right by us.
That was a great run, wasn't it?
I'm telling you, that place, it was a seismic event.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But another run that I remember, and I think I might have mentioned this before, I don't know if I did, was your run at Husky Stadium against the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders, yeah.
When you ripped out, I don't know, whatever it was.
88 yards,
was
yeah.
it? And you're looking at the scoreboard.
Yeah.
You could see it on the replay. You're looking at the scoreboard like it's almost like a rear-view mirror to see if anybody's behind you.
Yeah, no, man, you've been there for some great moments, man.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've been blessed.
Seattle is like it's just a fabulous football town. You know what I mean? And so it's been really, really cool.
Hey, what do you think happens with the Seahawks moving forward? I mean, a quarterback. Do you think they stick with Geno, or do you think there's a transition there with maybe a draft pick in a year or two?
I think that they will. They think they will stick with Geno.
Yeah.
I do feel like they will draft a quarterback if they find one that's good. But Pete's really good at value and talent. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's like, man, if I get some guys that can fight, then we'll make something happen. So he's good at that. All
right, before we let you go, the game itself, who do you like and why?
I'm going to go with the Eagles. I mean, football-wise, I'm saying the trenches. The Eagles, I had a great line that all worked well together. I mean, I had Walton Hutch. They held it down. But, I mean, Toback and Chris Gray and Locklear, man, they all worked so well together. And I had Mac to come in there and bully people up, They gel well. So I see that in the Eagles. They all move so well. One step, two step, one moves. They try to do a stunt. They all kind of pick it all up there. So that's there. But on the emotional side, I'm also like, man, that's Jalen Hurst and Devontae Smith. Those are my little nephews right there playing. And so I remember those boys being freshmen at Bama and watching them play and watching them go sophomore years and the national championship and the whole thing. So, so I'm going with Eagles for both the reasons.
Well, Shaun, it's a treat, always a treat talking to you. www.cafemomentum.org for more information on your project. And by the way, congratulations on doing this and giving back to the community and to helping out the youth. Awesome having you, and always love crossing paths with you. And,
No doubt,
by the way,
brother.
Hasselbeck's here tomorrow, from what I understand.
Oh,
as well.
great.
So
that's my
the
guy.
reunion continues.
That's it, man. That's good. Well, that'd be good. I'm actually leaving. I'm actually going to go back home and watch the game with the family. So.
All right. Well, Shaun, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, thank you.